Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community. The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It with your host, B.J. Williams.
We have a great show for you today, including an interview with fiction author Jamise. But first, Ruby Soutier and Julia Mock, both of the Material Selection Department of the Metropolitan Library System, want to tell you about a brand new cookbook.
Hi, today we're here to talk about the Holly Clegg Trim and Terrific Cookbook. And one of the things that I really liked about this cookbook is the fact that most of the ingredients are easy to find. You can find them just in your local grocery store. And it has little tip boxes and little bits of information that's very helpful. One of the things that I actually tried to make out of this cookbook was a salsa recipe, which is very easy, and it's made with canned tomatoes, but because you add some other ingredients that are fresh, it makes it taste like it's made with fresh tomatoes. It's very good. Another thing that I made was a cranberry orange scones, and I believe you also made those.
Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, that's what we have here on the table. They were really delicious, and my whole family enjoyed them. I had trouble saving some aside to bring here today. I also tried the honey pecan chicken, which was chicken marinated in honey and soy sauce, and then coated with crushed wheat checks and pecans, and that was really tender and delicious, and I got voted that yes, we could have that one again.
And do you bake that?
Yes, that's baked in the oven.
In the oven. There is another chicken recipe that I tried that is also baked in the oven, and it is called Chicken Cherry Jubilee. And just the title sounds so neat that's partly why I wanted to try it. And you make it with cherries and with chili sauce and with an onion and of course with a chicken. And one of the things that I really liked about it was how moist it turned out.
Let's see. I don't know, really. This chicken does not look very moist. It looks kind of rubbery to me. But in all seriousness, I tried it too, and we really enjoyed it.
It is a great recipe. You cook it in liquid in the oven for like about an hour and a half, and it truly is very, very moist. What did you like about this cookbook?
Well, there were a number of things I liked about the cookbook. It really was easy to use. And one of the things I liked about it is because it was the Trim and Terrific cookbook, it has nutritional information included with every recipe. It's got calories and carbohydrates and fat content as well as other nutritional information. So no matter what diet you might be on, you can use the recipes in this cookbook.
Now, one of the things that you may see as a downside that I like is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of illustrations.
Well, I really enjoyed this cookbook anyway, and you can find the Holly Clegg Trim and Terrific cookbook at your library or local bookstore.
I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny.
Hi, my name is Jose Jimenez of your Metropolitan Library Commission. You know, most experts tell us that if you just spend 20 minutes a day reading to your child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're also preparing that child to learn how to read. Check with the experts at your Metropolitan Library for suggestions on just the right books for you and your family. And visit us at our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
I'm here with Doug Benton, and I'm going to continue with my light summer reading, even though most of us are going back to school and getting ready for fall, but wasn't able to fit it all in earlier, Doug. And actually, I have two books today.
Yeah.
The first one was published in 1966 for the first time. It's just been reissued this year by Bayan. It's The Witches of Karas by James H. Smits, and they call it a cult classic. It's actually sort of a children's novel, but an awful lot of grown-ups read it too. But Schmitz was fairly prolific in the 60s and 70s. Most of his protagonists were female and wrote very light, rollicking adventures. And this one features a Captain Possart of Nickel de Payne. Now, don't laugh, because Captain Possart has had any number of barroom fights over people laughing at the name of his planet. But he sets out to make his fortune so he can marry a very pretty young woman back on his own planet. But in the course of trying to get rid of a very weird cargo, he ends up rescuing 3 young slave girls. And then he finds out that part of the reason that they were slave girls and part of the reason that they were sold to him so very, very cheaply is that they are witches. And witches from a very notorious planet. Now, you have to suspend all disbelief.
Yeah, I was going to say, this sounds like it's more fantasy than science fiction this time, right?
It really is. It's set in a world of spaceships and Nova guns and all that sort of thing, but it really is very lighthearted, and it has a lot of the fantastical, because these are real witches. They come from a whole planet of witches. The empire that dominates most of space is not friendly towards the witches. And Captain Possart and these 3 young girls, the oldest of which I think is 14, actually managed to save the galaxy from a really terrible menace. But it's a lot of lighthearted fun. You really enjoy the characters. Here's poor Captain Possart trying to be mother and father to at least 2 of the young witches are a royal pain in the you-know-what. They're precocious and they've got way too much power.
Now, Schmitz, he died young, didn't he?
He died, well, no, he didn't. He died in 1981, but he was born in 1911.
Oh, well, he lived a lot longer than I thought he did.
Yes, yes. Served in the Pacific, came back home and started writing lighthearted fiction.
Did he do a sequel to this?
Not to this,
Continuing?
but that's what I'm talking about. A few people just the other day did a sequel to it. And this one is called The Wizard of Kerris. It's a collaboration between Mercedes Lackey, who's an Oklahoma fantasy writer, Eric Flint, who is fairly new to science fiction. He's from Indiana. And then Dave Freer, who lives in South Africa. So all hail email.
Yeah, that's how to do it now.
But this is The Wizard of Kerris, and it features again Captain Possart and the 2 younger witches. Once again, they manage to save the galaxy from a really terrible thing. They have to join the circus to do that. So
yeah, I can see that it doesn't sound like real serious science fiction.
No, I said this is lighthearted summer reading.
It is.
So, but very enjoyable nonetheless. If you'd like something to sort of take you away from your cares, I can recommend both The Witches and The Wizard of Kerris.
Okay.
Coming up next, we have Kids Corner. Rosemary Zarsky, who's the manager of the Choctaw Library, will be talking with Kelly Rhea from our outreach department about a book just for our young adults.
Hello, we've got an exciting book today. It's called Hunted by N.M. Brown, with an E on the end. Tell me why you like this book.
Well, the cover was fascinating. And then I read the inside the cover, you know, the flyleaf, and I just had to read the book. And it lived up to the flyleaf, 100%. It's full of adventure, full of choices, full of, which world is the best world to live in? Because it's a novel of space and time continuums. And a young woman goes from one, the current time, to another that's a more medieval time, when magic was part of the world. And she has to decide which world is she going to stay in, because she cannot stay in both. And if she doesn't do the transformation in time, she will die. And so she doesn't know this. All she knows is learning how to hunt as a fox, but knowing that she used to be somebody else.
So she starts out as a human, and somehow, through the author's magical weaving, she becomes a fox in this alternate world.
Right. A red fox, and her friend Mal does know what she is. He knows that she's from another continuum. And so he is trying to get her to safety. Of course, he wants her to stay, but most of all, he wants her to be safe, as in that she won't die simply because she didn't do what she needed to do in time.
So he's the character that leads her through this new territory.
Right.
Ah.
And he's got his alter ego, if you will, in the other continuum where the boy did not do this. He did not protect her. And so it's an interesting play on characters, and it's very well developed, and it's very brutal in parts because the medieval period was a very brutal time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would definitely not recommend this for anybody under the junior high level.
Okay, so junior high is 14, 15,
Somewhere
and
in
up.
Mm-hmm. But it's a good book.
It sounds really good, and I love time travel too, and fantasy and adventure, and if you love medieval.
Right. And it's definitely good against evil.
Oh, goody. Well, we know that you'll enjoy this. Hunted by N.M. Brown. You can find it at your local bookstore or at your favorite library.
Thanks, Rosemary and Kelly. And once again, Doug Benton and I are here to talk about books, only it's Doug's turn this time.
Yeah, and I've got some light reading too, although there are some serious moments in this book. It's called A Fine Dark Line by Joe R. Lansdale, who's a Texas writer. He lives down in East Texas.
People in Texas can write.
People in Texas, this people can write really well, I'll tell you. He has won multiple awards for his writing, including an Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers of America. This novel did not win one, but it's a lot like Huckleberry Finn, oddly enough.
Oh, really?
That's what it kept reminding me of as I read it. The protagonist is a young man named Stanley. He's 13. His dad owns the drive-in in the small Texas town, and the family actually lives inside the screen. There's a large apartment inside the screen, so he hangs out at the drive-in a lot. But there's an old burned ruin of a house not too far away from the drive-in, and one day Stanley finds buried there a box of letters. They look like love letters that were written maybe 15, 20 years previously, and he and his sister Callie get interested in trying to find out what is the story of this, because apparently they find out that a young girl was killed in the house when it burned down. On the same night, another young woman was murdered down by the railroad tracks long ago. So it's one of those stories where they're investigating something that happened in the past, and their helper is a black man who runs the projector. His name is Buster, and he's an older man, and he has kind of a drinking problem. But he takes to the kids, and he knows somebody who's the janitor at the jail. So his friend can get some of the old records out. And the guy is also a janitor at the newspaper office, conveniently enough, so they can get into the
Well,
newspaper
it's a
morgue
small
as well.
town.
It is a small town. Stanley's best friend is a young man named Richard, and he even describes Richard as being like Huckleberry Finn. He says he's one of those guys that won't make a very good adult, but he's a great kid because he can do all these different things. Their cook is named Ruby May. She is the partner of an abusive man named Bubba Joe, who's kind of like Injun Joe, takes the place of Injun Joe in this story. And so there's a subplot with the two of them. But, and it's all set in 1958, by the way. I guess I should have said that up on top so we'd get a historical frame for this.
Well, once you mentioned drive-in movie theater, I think
Yeah, it couldn't have been today. Lansdale has written about drive-ins many, many times in short stories and even in other novels. So he's very much a devotee of drive-in culture, and he brings it into his stories frequently.
Does he do it well?
Well, he does it very well. And I think he started off writing short stories, horror stories mostly, and he has gone on from then a little bit more mainstream, mostly with mystery stories. But he's also written screenplay. He's written for comics. He's written a lot of different things. But anyway, it's a very interesting book. It's a good mystery at that level, but it's also an interesting coming-of-age story in 1950s Texas.
Sounds great. And the title again?
A Fine Dark Line, Joe R. Lansdale.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up next, we have MJ Van Deventer, who is Director of Publications at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. She'll be talking with Oklahoma's very own Lieutenant Governor, Mary Fallin, about one of her books.
Mary, welcome to Read About It.
Glad to be back with you again.
Well, it's always nice to have you. I love the title of the book that you're going to talk about. If you want to walk on water, you've got to get out of the boat. Really a self-help, motivational type book, and I just skimmed it last night, but I know you've really enjoyed this book.
Oh, I have, and you know, I think we face so many challenges in life today that people are always looking for something that's encouraging to them, and I love to read encouraging books, so I would highly recommend this book. But the topic of the book and the title really got my attention, Getting Out of the Boat to Walk on Water. Just what does that mean? And the book talks about water walking experiences in life.
I know, I love that phrase.
Oh, it is a
water
great
walking,
phrase.
you know.
And of course it relates to the story of Peter in the Bible when he was out with the disciples on the water and a storm came up and Jesus called to him and said, you know, come out of the boat, Peter. And he says, that's you, Master, command me to do it. And he gets out of the boat and he actually walks on water and walks with God. And it talks about in the book how in life we're going to face storms, we're going to face challenges, and how we can have great rewards when we're willing to take risk in life and get out and try things that we feel like we're called to do.
And things that maybe are a challenge for us.
Things that are a challenge. In fact, a couple of points that a couple of points it makes in this book is about facing your fears in life and how to overcome those fears and challenges
that was what
you
I
have.
really noticed in the book, is that you've really got to confront those fears, because if not, you're almost paralyzed.
It can paralyze you. It talks about discovering and embracing the unique call that you might have upon your life and how God can take ordinary people and give them extraordinary things to do, and how it can really change their life and challenge them to do things that maybe they thought they couldn't do in the past.
What's probably, for you, the greatest lesson in the book?
Greatest lesson in the book? Well, I think so many times we get stuck in the same old rut in life of thinking, well, this is just kind of how it is, and gosh, I really feel like I need to go do this thing, but it just looks impossible to me. And if you don't ever get out of the boat and take a risk and have faith and have trust in yourself and even in God, that He can cause all things to happen, then you'll miss great opportunities in life. And I think all of us want to have a meaningful, purposeful life in which we make a great contribution. And this book encourages you
we have a mission in
to
life,
do that. Yeah.
something to achieve. Well, let's remember the phrase water walkers. I think that's just a wonderful phrase in the book.
Well, I think it's a good challenge to all of us to be water walkers in life.
Thank you so much for sharing and for being here, and we hope you'll come back again.
Thank you. I always enjoy your show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Governor and MJ. Coming up next, we have an interview with Jamise L. Dames. I attended the Oklahoma Writers Federation conference last May and was able to talk with a number of the presenters there. Dames is a writer. She's going to talk about her first published book. She's actually been writing and being published since she was 6. She is a graduate of the University of Connecticut and lives both in the back east and in the south. I think you'll enjoy what she has to say about Mama's baby, Daddy's maybe. What inspired you to write Mama's baby, Daddy's maybe?
Other than the title, well, out of fairness to women and unfairness on men's behalf. A woman can do something and she will be dragged through the mud for it, and sometimes a man won't. So I wanted to explore the topic of someone questioning the paternity of a child, and I wanted to do it from a woman's perspective. Not a loose woman, but just an ordinary woman.
A woman that I felt was looking for happiness in the best way that she knew how to do it, trying to find herself, and I thought trying to find herself for herself, but also within the constraints of family.
Yes.
She had a sister and a brother that she was also dealing with in this situation as well.
Yes, yes. And also a woman who was in between relationships, so to speak. I thought of, I'm married, and thank God I've never been in that situation. But when you come out of a relationship where you really love someone, and what happens when you care for someone else and you're caught in that in between, and that's how I thought of it for Kennedy, and it was her stepping stone to grow. It wasn't a nice situation, but most novels aren't about nice situations.
Right. Nice situations are awfully boring.
Yes, yes.
You tend to fall asleep before the first page is up. Well, Kennedy was divorced. She had a 4-year-old daughter that she loved very much, but she was living with her sister, which I thought there's the first mistake. Don't move in with your sister.
Yes, she was living with her sister for the second time. Yes.
And her sister also had issues of her own.
Yes.
I appreciated the way you were able to bring the three of them in. The story was mostly about Kennedy, but we also dealt with the stories of Derek and
Simone,
and then also with both the ex-husband Jared and then the new man in Kennedy's life, who's also Simone's boss.
Yes.
You know how to wrap them up in big tangles, don't you?
You know what? I'm very, very hard on my characters. I don't know why. You know, you're supposed to give them these obstacles and reasons to fight for things that they want, because they should want something. I mean, humans, we all want something. But I tend to be very hard. If I give you a hurdle, next I'm going to give you a brick wall, and then I feel sorry for them. But I don't, it's just a habit that I have. So I do like as a reader, not just as a writer, but as a reader, I like the big tangles. I like to, you know, it's like a Christmas gift with multiple wrappings. You unwrap the first one, and it's, you know, till you get down to that one thing. Yeah.
Now, are your characters based on people that you know, or do you just make them up?
No, I make them up. But if someone has a quality, I'll take it. You know, in my next book, Pushing Up Daisies, my character isn't strong, and I think that I'm a very strong person. The reason that Kennedy ended up being a strong person. And I have a cousin who's laid back, meek, and I thought about her when I wrote that character. So certain things I will borrow. Yeah.
Well, now this is set in New York for the most part. Pretty well-to-do people. These are people, professionals, that have careers, and I thought it was obvious that although they may be making money and everything seems to be going well, if you see them on the subway or something, oh, they've got it all together.
No, right, you would think they would have no problems at all, exactly.
And problems all over the place.
Oh, yes,
with these. Yes. Because actually there's a big problem with Kennedy's daughter that doesn't trigger the action, but it certainly makes everything that much worse.
Yeah, I think it makes her more appreciative. Because you know what, like you said, professionals. But if you think about it, we never saw her go to work. You know, so what I was using that whole, just because it glitters doesn't mean it's gold, you know. Because it looks good on the outside, it can be horrible on the inside. Yes.
But again, she had family.
She did.
That's something that you portrayed in there, and also some very good friends, people that she felt she could rely on and share with. I particularly enjoyed when she really thought things were happening with Michael. She went to visit her friend Miranda. And I thought that
colorful Miranda, yes.
I thought that was a great scene.
Okay, yes.
And I felt like you were having fun when you were writing that. Was that the case?
I was having fun, especially with Miranda, because she had a mouth like a sailor, but she had that girlfriend quality that no one's around, you know, you can be yourself, tell me what happened. I want everything, all the way to her lighting a cigarette for her and Kennedy, and they're chain smoking. So yeah, I did have fun with Miranda. I did have fun with her because in the book I mentioned she didn't have anyone. You know, all she had was Kennedy. And Kennedy had her brother and her sister, her friend, her daughter, but she didn't have her parents. And that was one of my key points to Mama's Baby, is that you have this close-knit family, but they hide the small things, and because of that, everything falls apart. They shared everything else, but the major things, which weren't that big, is what made them go through everything. Yeah.
Well, it's really quite intriguing sometimes to watch these family dynamics and find that just because you fall into a pattern of not talking about something, and all of a sudden it does assume major proportions simply because you haven't talked about it much.
Right.
And you can be very close to someone and have no idea what they're actually thinking about something or how they would react to your
or
secret.
who they are, or who they are. I was reading something this weekend that if you put someone through 3 minutes of stress, you'll learn more about them than you would in a whole lifetime, because you get to see who they are. And it was something I wanted to explore because I'm an only child, but I come from a huge family and we're all close. And I'm thinking, well, what if we didn't tell this, or what if we didn't tell that? So-and-so's life could have been ruined. So it was fun for me.
So you take these really nice people and you just
I put them.
You put them through the
everywhere
ringer.
except heaven. Yeah. Yes.
And then explored, but they did come out at the end, I think, much stronger for what had happened to them, and I think with their ties strengthened. So you're really, I guess, talking about the bonds that we have as a family.
Yes. That's really what the whole theme is about. You know, it's family, and like with the siblings and both parents are deceased, you know, sometimes you can have something that's right there and not appreciate it the way that you should. Like, I love my parents, love my grandmother, and I appreciate, you know, where I come from, and they didn't, but they were taught to, they learned to. Yeah.
Now, Pushing Up Daisies is coming out in
March 2005.
Great.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you very much for being with us.
And thank you for having me.
Hi, I'm Donna Morris, Executive Director of your Metropolitan Library System. You know, experts tell us it's never too early to begin reading to a child. If you spend just 20 minutes a day reading to a child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're helping that child to prepare to learn how to read. Visit us at the Metropolitan Library System and let us help you select just the right books for you and your family. And be sure and visit our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
It's Writer's Almanac time, and Doug, I'll bet you've got a date for us.
Okay, I certainly do. September 7th, 1954 was the death date of the man who created, wrote, and drew the first continually running comic strip in more than one panel. How's that? How's that for? Whoa! His name was Bud Fisher, and the strip was Mutt and Jeff, with the first multi-panel comic strip. And now, guys our age, or my age, remember Mutt and Jeff. One tall, one short.
I remember
He's
the
been
names,
gone for a
but-
long time, the two characters. It began as a tip thing for sports. Mutt would come on and say who was going to win the big game. That's it.
Okay.
We don't have time to go into the history of Mutt and Jeff, I know.
Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next time.